There are a lot of myths out there about how to build a successful business. If only it were that simple. But here's some newsflash. You can't be successful unless your company is the most competitive of its kind in the world. And competition isn't just determined by the price of your product or service. It's determined by the entire experience. From the quality of your product or service to the customer service experience, everything is fair game. Customers can smell BS from a mile away, so you need to make sure you're doing everything you can to give them the best possible experience. Otherwise, they'll take their business elsewhere. It's no secret that the pandemic has changed the way we do business. More than ever before, customers expect companies to be flexible, adaptable, and resilient. They want to know that the businesses they're dealing with are committed to their well-being and are taking steps to protect them from harm. The companies that will succeed in the coming years are the ones that are able to adapt to these changing demands and come out on top. So if you want to stay ahead of the pack, listen up. Step No. 1. Create an environment where everyone feels like they can do their best work. As a leader, it's up to you to create an environment where everyone feels like they can do their best work without fear of discrimination or exclusion. When people feel like they belong and are valued for who they are, they're more likely to be engaged in their work and produce high-quality results. So how do you create an environment like this? Start by leading by example. Model the behavior you want to see in others, and make sure your actions align with your words. Be proactive in addressing any instances of disrespect or exclusion, and make sure everyone feels comfortable speaking up when they see something that does unfeel right. Put systems in place to gather anonymous feedback so that people feel safe sharing their thoughts, and use that feedback to make positive changes. Finally, celebrate the diversity of thought and experience in your organization. Recognize that everyone has something unique to offer, and make sure everyone has a voice. When you create an environment where everyone feels valued and respected, you'll create a sense of belonging that will make people want to come to work every day and do their best work. Step 2. Make sure your leadership team is accountable. Being a leader is hard work, comes with a lot of responsibility and often long hours. But being a good leader is even harder. That's because good leaders aren't just responsible for the work they do themselves. They're also responsible for the work of their team. That means they need to make sure their team members have the resources they need to succeed, that they're held accountable for their actions, and that they're constantly learning and growing. Unfortunately, most leaders don't spend enough time focusing on these things. Instead, they get caught up in the day-to-day grind and forget to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The result is a team that's not functioning at its best, and an organization that's not living up to its potential. Good leadership isn't about being popular or keeping everyone happy. It's about making tough decisions and holding yourself and others accountable. When you hold yourself and others accountable, you create an environment of trust and respect. People know that you're not going to sugarcoat things or protect them from making tough decisions. You're honest and straightforward, and you expect nothing less from them. This type of leadership creates a ripple effect. When you hold your team members accountable, they start doing the same thing. They become more productive and efficient, and the organization as a whole starts to turn things around. Step 3. Prioritize the well-being of your team members. We all know that employee well-being is important, but many companies don't make it a priority. They see it as an HR issue, or something to be addressed by a wellness committee, rather than a business issue that everyone needs to be involved in. As a result, employees are often left to fend for themselves. When it comes to their well-being, they're given well-being benefits and resources and told to use them. But there's no real support or guidance. Many employees don't know how to use these benefits or don't feel comfortable doing so. They may feel embarrassed about needing help or may not know where to start. This is where company leaders need to step in and make a difference. When leaders make employee well-being a priority, it sends a clear message that they care about their employees as people. It also shows that they're committed to creating a workplace where everyone feels supported and valued. When employees feel supported, they are more likely to be engaged in their work and produce high-quality results. A study by the Society for Human Resource Management found that companies with a strong focus on employee well-being had lower rates of absenteeism, presenteeism, and turnover. They were also more profitable. So how can you prioritize the well-being of your team members? Start by making it a business priority. Set goals and objectives for improving employee well-being and hold yourself and others accountable for achieving them. Create a culture of openness and support where employees feel comfortable talking about their well-being and seeking help when they need it. Provide resources and support to help employees make positive lifestyle changes, and lead by example. Make your own well-being a priority and share your successes and challenges with your team. Step 4. Stay focused on what works and get rid of what doesn't. In today's fast-paced business environment, it can be tough to know what's working and what's not. With so much changing so quickly, it's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and lose sight of what's really important. However, staying focused on what works is essential for success. It allows you to streamline your efforts and allocate your resources where they're most needed. By getting rid of what doesn't work, you can free up your time and energy to focus on the things that matter most. It's not always easy to know what to focus on, but there are a few key things to keep in mind. First, you need to understand your business goals. What are you trying to achieve? Once you know your goals, you can start to figure out what's helping you move toward them and what's not. Another thing to keep in mind is your target audience. What are their needs, and how can you better serve them? Finally, don't forget to track your results. This will help you see what's working and what's not working, so you can make adjustments as needed. When you stay focused on what works and get rid of what doesn't, you'll be well on your way to success. It's not always easy, but the results will be worth it. Now let's apply these lessons to a real-world situation. Let's say you're the CEO of a tech company. How would you use these tips to create a more competitive and successful business? One way you could do this is by implementing a new diversity and inclusion program. This program would focus on creating an environment where everyone feels like they belong and are valued for who they are. You would also hold your leadership team accountable for creating a more diverse and inclusive workplace. In addition, you would prioritize the well-being of your team members by offering resources and support to help them make positive lifestyle changes. Finally, you would stay focused on what works by tracking metrics such as employee engagement and turnover. By following these tips, you would create a more competitive and successful business that is well positioned for the future. The bottom line is that if you want to create a company that is well positioned for success, you need to stay focused on what works and get rid of what doesn't. This means cutting through the noise and not getting distracted by all the latest trends and fads. It also means making tough decisions and being willing to change course if something isn't working. It's not always easy, but it's necessary if you want to succeed. So stay focused, be adaptable, and keep moving forward. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and share for more insightful business tips. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.